Hello. Here I am. It's me. I'm going to give it a second. I'm also going to give myself a second so I can fix my bangs. I was frantically changing them, and then I messed them up. Hello, class. Welcome. I hope you are all excited to learn about social media. My favorite thing in the world. It's so great. Social media. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started here and put my slides up. Not like that, though. I'm going to be here so you can see all of my reactions. I'm very, very, very passionate about social media in the sense that I have a lot of hot takes. Also, I can talk for hours about it, so we need like a code word in the chat if I'm spending too long on a particular topic for social media. Somebody just say you're spending too long on this slide. Go to the next slide. You got a lot to go through, so we're going to get started. Here's a look at the syllabus. There's a lot to go through. This is just scratching the surface a little bit of social media professionally, but it should be enough to get you, off to a good start. So for this panel, I'm only going to be talking about Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You're welcome to ask questions about other platforms. I do know all of them. I am well versed in all of them, especially MySpace. What's up? Just don't ask me questions about TikTok because I downloaded it like a month ago. LinkedIn, actually, don't talk to me about LinkedIn. It's a very contentious topic at work right now. That is literally my priority at my day-to-day is LinkedIn. I can talk about it. I have a lot to say about it, but this is not viable for anybody. But yeah, TikTok is, just talk about TikTok instead. It's fine. Quick little about me. Hi, I'm Emma. It's me. Both pictures have a lot of wigs that are all black. So I've been a social media manager / strategist for about 8 years at a large-ish web company. I've been doing this as a day-to-day professionally for a very long time. I'm self-taught. Fun fact, I don't actually run the socials for the Bay Area AK accounts because Jess won't let me because she said you can't do this. You do it professionally. I won't let you. And she's right to do that because I'm exhausted. My first social media account was MySpace. I think I was 13 or 12 when I made it. Definitely way too young, but I have been on social media / the internet since like forever. Why am I so woo today? I'm channeling my inner Mani. This is the only non-gothic dress that I have. It's super cute. I'm wearing a upside down cross because I gotta have something a little bit edgy or I'll die. Yeah, it's a cute little, it's got rosettes. I would show it up. I'll post a picture later. It's a cord picture, but it's one of the AP rosette pieces. I love it. It's cute. A little bit of goth. And I just made a TikTok like a month ago. I'm trying to figure it out. It's one of those things where I have a lot of opinions on content and how it's shifted over the years from static content to video. And I hate video because I hate seeing myself because I'm a millennial and we all hate seeing ourselves on video like that. So moving on, I'm going to go straight into the basics of social media platforms. It's fine. Shout out to my millennials. We're all tired. Twitter. Twitter, I promise you, is not as scary as it seems. I talked to a lot of people about Twitter and they're like, I don't know how to use it. I'm scared. Like, it's just text. Like, it's not that hard. You can put pictures in your texts and tweets as well. Like, it really, I'm probably biased because I've been on Twitter since 2009. I'm an old, but like Twitter, it's great. You can use it to share short text posts, have conversations with people. Like, it's mostly text-based, yes, but it's a good option for sharing pictures. I know a lot of photographers who just share their portfolios on Twitter a lot of the time because you can have a nice little collage. It is visually very nice to look at tweets that are like that. Good uses. So Twitter has a feature called lists. Nobody really does it anymore, so it's kind of hidden. Lists are something where you can pick people from, you don't even have to follow them. You can add somebody to a specific list and it will curate a feed for you to look at. So a list would be like, I don't want to follow these Lolita people, but I want to keep up with their posts. necessarily. Like, I don't want them on my main feed, but I want to know what they're talking about from time to time. Or like, I'm looking for info in a specific industry, but like there's too many people to follow. I just would rather not. And so then you can go access these lists and it acts as like a separate feed for you. So it probably seems a little bit complicated, but I promise it's not. Like, lists are a really hidden feature on Twitter. If you need help setting them up, feel free to hit me up and I can tell you how to do it. Twitter's also really good for sharing hot takes. Love that. You can find and participate in communities. I want to say in December, the Lolita community, you guys all know that whole thing that happened. I won't talk about it. The discourse. Hashtag Lolita fashion. Actually, that was great that happened because I had no idea that was even an active hashtag. It might have not been active before, but now it's active. So I use it actually a lot. It's really good to kind of see other people's chords. You might not necessarily follow them on Instagram, or they might not even have an Instagram. That's great. There's a J Fashion one that doesn't seem as populated, but it is there. There are, of course, other hashtags. If you stay on Twitter long enough, you'll see people talking within these hashtags and kind of creating their own community. On that, you can do hashtag searching and read content through that way. So like trending topics you might hear about. Hashtags are kind of a dying, I wouldn't call them art, but they're pretty much dying lately, in the sense that when I started Twitter, like hashtag follow Friday was like huge, or like hashtag music Monday. All of those trends aren't really active anymore, and people kind of just use hashtags to kind of insert something into a community or join in a conversation. I'm going to just go ahead and say the boomers and conservatives ruined it. So there's that. Hashtags are for boomers. Yeah. So Twitter's good for having quick chats and conversations and longer discussions with people, or you can just shit post. It's great. I use Twitter to find kind of the latest news. I wake up every morning and see what horror faces me today. And you can support your favorite artists or brands on Twitter. I don't really follow brands on Instagram as much as I do on Twitter because I'm like, I want to see the hot drops immediately. And so all my friends know, like, we'll be talking and I'll randomly just like interrupt, be like, oh, Moitié dropped their new stuff. Like, this is their new release. Or Baby's got going nuts. They got a thread on their whole stuff. And so I actually find out about new releases faster than if I were to follow brands on Instagram. The downsides, hella ads on Twitter. There's lots of hidden tricks and like things you probably won't pick up on or know about until somebody either tells you or you just learn yourself. And like, I've been on Twitter for over 10 years at this point, so I know all of them. Also, I get paid to know about it. So it's a thing. It's also really unreasonably easy to be harassed or harass somebody on Twitter. The internet sucks. We all know that. There are things like you could of course report somebody and block somebody, but like, again, it's not that hard to just whip up an account and just start being mean to somebody. It is what it is. Twitter can also be overwhelming, and then there's 24/7 doom and gloom, like constantly. Not as bad as Facebook, but like there's curate who you follow on Twitter unless you want to see 24/7 doom and gloom. Like, don't follow news accounts. Like, it's just bad all the time. So some J Fashion tips for Twitter. I would, again, recommend following your favorite brands. Like, I follow Baby, I follow Miho Matsuda, and Moitié, just because I need to know what I need to spend my money on every day. Use the hashtag, absolutely, 100% recommend using the hashtag Lolita Fashion if you're a Lolita, or hashtag J Fashion, or your specific J Fashion. You can discover new pals that way. Just go through it, click on the hashtag, scroll through tweets, be like, oh, this person is cool and interesting, I want to follow them. And then share pics and coordinates per post. Like, I do that probably more often than I do on Instagram. Is I'll share my pictures on Twitter first usually and get 2 pictures because I don't like slides on Instagram. So I share multiple pictures and tweets all the time. Yeah, reporting does nothing. It does nothing. I have had to communicate at my job with our brand managers because reporting doesn't work. And I'm like, you need to handle this immediately because your reporting doesn't do anything. So I'm contacting you because you can do something. Moving on to things to know about Facebook. Yeah, so threads are cool. Threads are essentially a tweet and then a thread in a tweet. You all know what threads are. You guys are all professional. you can add individual tweets to your previous tweet, and that will kind of create a thread. So it kind of creates a story or a collection of something. This is a really cool feature. I don't see it used too often unless somebody's like, I have a really cool story to tell, or I'm sharing important information about something. That's when I usually see threads, but I like to do it to keep collections of like, this is a photo set I did. I'm going to thread it again. So like that way it bumps up the old photo set when you add on to it. This, again, you can curate your own separate feed. Really good. It keeps kind of a unique themed list of accounts. So like if you want to make a list of brands instead of following all the brands. Direct messages, the DMs, you can turn them off, like 100%. Be like, I do not want anybody to contact me privately. I kind of wouldn't recommend that unless you're like really genuinely don't want to deal with people. But it is an option. It defaults to, if you were to make a Twitter today, spin one up, it defaults to only people that you follow and follow you back can tweet at you. You can turn it on to open it up to everybody to follow you, and then you'll get like DM requests is what they're called, and they won't immediately show in your inbox, but you'll have a little like ticker at the bottom, kind of like Facebook has it. I keep mine on personally just in case there's somebody I don't know trying to contact me and they need to contact me, but that's just because of my job. I understand how frustrating it can be. Like, I need to communicate something with this person privately, but I can't because they don't follow me and I can't DM them. Hashtags, don't use hashtags. Like, I see this happening all the time and I kind of just like about it. Don't use hashtags like you'd use them on Instagram. Keep it simple. Keep like a few per tweet, like no more than 5, and even 5 I'm like uncomfortable saying. It's weird. Personally, it takes up a lot of character space and that's unnecessary. If you're like 2 words are my caption, 20 hashtags like that, it is visually like distracting, and not every hashtag you use is necessarily going to be a thing. So like stop trying to make a hashtag a thing. If the hashtag's not a thing, it's not 2013. You can't add hashtag to like every single word. You can't add a hashtag fitness to every single Instagram post. Like, it's not, just don't do it. It's not necessary. Use a couple, move on. Instagram, Zuck's House of Clownery and Malcontent. I would be remiss to say that like, you all know Instagram. You are here because of Instagram, most likely. I will eat an entire shoe if somebody in this chat does not have an Instagram account, or at least at one point had an Instagram account. I'll go over it just a little bit, just because it is here and it is important to know. So Instagram is really good for image posting and video posting right now. It's great for supporting your favorite brands and artists. Like, I know they're all struggling right now because of Instagram's algorithm. So I just want to take the time to say, if there's somebody like you really like their content when you see it come up, but you don't necessarily follow them, please just like follow them. It means a lot, and like go out of your way to like their posts, even if like you might not necessarily like care. Just like, hit the like button, save it, like put it in your DM, like share it on your story. Like, that is super important right now. So like make sure you are supporting your favorite brands and their artists. Another thing that I actually really, really like Instagram for is saving things to collections. It's basically like Pinterest, but like on a smaller scale. I've got like 10 collections. One's like just like I have a mood board one. I've got one for things that I want to buy. I've got things for clothes I want to buy, art that I want to buy, house inspiration, trip inspiration, like a bunch. It's really easy to create collections and just tap that save button. If you don't use collections, I'd highly recommend it. Like chords that you like, please just do it. It's great. It will make your life easier. And then you don't have to use Pinterest. Love that. And then the downsides, everything. Instagram, they're switching primarily to Reels. And I'm like, what is this going to do for me professionally? Because I work for a tech company. We are primarily B2B. We don't have a physical product to sell. I hate Instagram. Anyway, so J fashion tips. Use hashtags. no one's gonna see your stuff. Like, you don't have to do hashtags for every post. I occasionally don't if I'm like, I don't necessarily like want to be seen more than my followers. Hashtags are gonna help people see your post if they're exploring. Definitely tag brands and add hashtags for the brand hashtags for that if they are relevant. You can never tag too many brands. I mean, you can. I think you tag up to, I want to say 30. I don't tag too many brands, so I actually don't know the limit. The hashtag limit is 30, so keep that in mind. Post detail shots. One thing I have learned getting way back into the lead over the last couple of years, people love detail shots. It's a weird thing about social media lately. Not even lately, this has been for a while. People really like and almost resonate more with images without a face. I'm sorry to say it, nobody wants to see a fucking face. It is interesting. So a lot of the pictures, if you follow me, you'll notice I do like the chin down and like had to do it to him hands with some nails and like some necklaces. Like, people like that more because that's better for, they can see themselves doing something like that, so it's a little bit more attainable, other than like, this person is the most beautiful human being in the world and they do the best makeup, I can't possibly do this, like, what the poop. And less depressing in that sense, but also people really do like to see details on things, like, oh, that's cool, they put a lot of really thought into their coordinate and added some extra stuff. So post detail shots if you need tips on that. Had to do it to him hands. Comment often. Just go on somebody's chord post, be like, yo, your chord's dope, thumbs up, and then move on, do it to the next one. Comment. That's a good way to kind of stay active in the community as well. Like, you can lurk. I'm bad, I lurk, but I'm just too tired to comment on everybody's pictures. Definitely go out of your way to look at other people's coordinates and comment, engage, like their stuff. That's honestly how I became friends with a lot of people, is because they did that to me. Like, I started talking to Lord knows how many people over the pandemic because they actually went out of their way to comment. And I was like, they're commenting on all my pictures and like respond to my DMs. That's really nice. Let's be friends. And so then I made friends. It's a plus. Everybody's like, oh, I want more friends in J fashion. That's how you do it. Just talk to somebody. A lot of the time, we're all weirdos and gremlins looking for friends. If you're trying to keep a consistent feed, in that like you want your feed to look just J fashion, so you're like, I just want my coordinates and like maybe some detail shots, maybe some makeup shots. Do that. Stick to it. Make a separate account if you want to shit post or post things that are unrelated to it. You don't have to do this. It varies from person to person, and like it's your account. Nobody should tell you how to run it. If you like it consistent, like just EGL chords or whatever, cool, do it. But if you do want to post something extra, make a separate account if you want. Or don't post, or post them in your stories. My feed right now is chaotic because I post everything. And I know that is one of the reasons why I don't have more followers, because I just don't care. I'm like, I want to post a million different things at once. You don't have to, but if you want, that is an option and a good way to grow. All right. Things to know: the algorithm. We hate the algorithm. Right now, constant, consistent posting, a variety of formats, meaning stories, feed posts, reels. I don't think IGTV counts towards it, but it probably would help. Reels are prioritized right now, so like the video content is a nightmare to just create in general. They are prioritized, but like if you want to grow, so to say, you need to be posting constantly. The algorithm does get mad if you take a break from posting. So if you're like, I want to take a break from Instagram, I'm just going to turn it off for a while, it's going to get mad at you. And you're going to come back and you're going to make a post and you're not going to get likes. And you're going to be like, why is this happening? It's because you are being punished by the algorithm, because they're like, no, you can continue your break. It's messed up, but it is what it is. Engaging with others, as I said, it's important. Commenting, DMing, sharing, especially just for the community sense, just, gotta lift up people up. There is no chronological order, yes, but timing is still important. If you do have a creator account, which I talk about a little bit later on, you can go and see what times during the day are popular. Usually it's around like noon, lunchtime, for most people. So you don't necessarily have to post then, because like again, there's no order. It doesn't matter, but people will be more likely to see it if you do post it during those times, just in case it does happen to pop up. Or if you're like posting in your story, like, hey, I have a new post, people will be on and active then. This is really important to know. Most third-party apps are disallowed. Third-party apps are things that are not Instagram itself. So if you use like a really sketchy app that you found that like lets you schedule outside of Instagram, or like you see how many followers don't follow you back, like you can get banned if you get caught. It's rare, but it can happen, and it does happen. So just be very, very careful if you use third-party apps. I use like one third-party app. Don't tell Facebook. But I make sure to log out of it every time. It's really hard to get caught. Like you have to be actively doing like all of them and just go nuts about it. So just keep that in mind. They can ban you, or just lock down your account. Pay to play, yeah. Brand accounts, you can see lower engagement because Instagram wants you to pay for ads. So if you do have a brand account, don't. You need to pay for ads, otherwise they will purposely hide your shit until you pay them. Creator accounts are a little bit better, but it's still the same sense. Like if you want people to see your things, you need to pay. I go on that a little bit later. Hashtags, again, up to 30. Don't use all of the same ones at the same time. I think shadow banning's mostly a myth. People talk about it all the time. I haven't actually seen it, but just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But yeah, switch up your hashtags. The myth is that if you use the same hashtags all the time, you can get shadow banned. But it's just good practice in general to mix it up and add a few ones every different time. So don't copy paste the same tags every single post. Especially if you're posting all of the deleted content. Like I know how it is. You're posting the same like Kuro chord every single day, which is something I do. So you copy those tags, post it in your next one, and like Shadow Realm. I'm gonna send you the Shadow Realm, your Instagram account. Mix it up, like add a different chord, find like a not specifically J fashion thing, like hashtag alternative fashion, because it's alt fashion. Experiment. No one's gonna come knocking down your door because you posted the wrong hashtag to the wrong thing. Like, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, hashtags barely do anything anymore either, but they're there. Use them. It's still good. I keep clicking on the screen to switch to the next slide and not my actual thing. Facebook's Sucks, House of Clownery and Malcontent Part 2. Good uses for Facebook's networking and meeting new people, community groups and community events. Very, very specifically, community groups and community events. I am a part of the San Francisco community group. My Lolita mom was like immediately like, you need to join these groups, and here's the SF one, so if there's ever an event, you'll know about it. That is really, really important, especially if you're just starting out as a Lolita. You need to find either your closest comm or a comm that you can go to and join that group, and then watch out for the events if you want to go to these events. Downsides of Facebook, Boomer Central. Like, we all heard it on the news. Facebook is a nightmare right now. It straight up sucks. It prioritizes people right now, which, like, I can see how that's good for people. Like, oh, you're not seeing as many, like, brands or ads. But I'm a professional, and I hate it. So I make a post at my job, and I'm like, no one sees this. Why am I doing this? This is a nightmare. So it prioritizes paid content. If you do want to get seen, again, you pay Zuckerberg. He will put your post out on the front page so people can see it. But hey, at least the good news is you're seeing more from your friends. You're seeing more of your friends' bad takes instead of a brand who's like, please buy my socks. I would rather see all of these ads than all of the nightmare that I've had to subject myself over to the last couple of years. Good Lord. J fashion tips. We're getting a little bit happy now. Switching direction here. So again, join your J fashion related groups. There are a handful. I am not in any. I kind of just took a break because I was like, I can't do this anymore. And that's fine. Like, you don't have to, but if you are looking to kind of expand your knowledge of J fashion and your reach and just get to know more people and more brands and more things, like, it is great as a beginner. Just join them all. They're mostly public. You might have to answer some cool questions. I am in a cat group and a dog group. It's great. The chonky cat. I'm in the bigger dog group, the dog spawning one, and then the chonky cat group. That's it. That's all I need. I might join a J Fashion one again in the future, but like for now, I'm overwhelmed. Anyway, join your local com. Do that. I love the SF com. Shout out to all you guys. I know there's a handful of you in here. I love you. Attend and create events. That's a good thing. So if you're like, I want to have a com event, you can create an event page on Facebook. It's very straightforward. Click you're attending. It's really easy peasy and it's really useful, and you can kind of see who's going and get to know people that way. Up60 and I did a whole thing about going to meets that can kind of branch off from this topic. So go find that somewhere. Watch it. It's cool. Follow your favorite brand pages on Facebook. It's the same thing as Twitter. Like, I do kind of see posts from brands a little bit faster than if I were to follow them on Instagram. And also brands are able to like dump an entire album worth of like the new drops. Cause you know, YTA drops like 20 items at a time. And you're like, all right, I gotta go through. And then J Fashion Ship, like the Bay Area K Facebook page. Like us, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. But I don't have a Facebook. Yeah, I'm jealous. If I could delete my Facebook, I would, but I can't because I need it for my job. Make a fake one. Make a J Fashion one, make a fake one, be friends with only J Fashion people. It's fine. Like, you don't have to use it. You can exist on it, but they're gonna take my information. They have it anyway. You don't need to be like, oh, I don't want the government to have my information. They have it. It's fine. If you have TikTok, they have it. If you have Twitter, they probably have it. So whatever. Just deal with it. Nobody cares how many dresses you've purchased in the last year, except maybe your partner. Don't tell mine. But yeah, make a fake one. I have a bunch of friends on Facebook who are just using like them as a Lolita account. It's a good way to stay up to date with your local comms and events. Like, if you just rely on things like Discord or word of mouth to find out about comm events, you're gonna have a bad time because you're probably not going to find out about it fast enough, especially if your specific comm is having limits to their events as they do right now. But also, you don't have to. It's fine. Ask a friend to keep you in loop with events. Find a Discord server. It's, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to make recommendations as somebody who gets paid money to do this. Things to know, Facebook groups. So if you join a Facebook group, expect to be vetted for most EGL things. Like, people just want to know you're not a creep. As you all know, this is a fashion that sometimes brings creeps in. Read the group rules. If you want to make a post just like randomly right off the bat without reading the rules, you might get in trouble. Read the rules. And if you don't vibe with the group, just leave. I left like all of them. I think the only group I'm in is in the SFCom one. I'm in no EGL Facebook groups right now. It is wonderful. Recommend it. The Facebook pages. So if you want to make a Facebook page, if you're like, I want to be an influencer and you want to make a Facebook page, just cool, do it, but make sure you're posting regularly on it. It is the same sense as like you are building a brand. You do have to pay attention to that constantly. And on Facebook, if they will punish you if you are not posting regularly, like it's going to be harder to get attention if you're posting like once a month. On that, they also, again, prioritize people and friends over brands. So your engagement is probably going to be abysmal when you start out. Like, you're not going to get a lot of likes. And then even when you do get a little bit bigger, you're still not going to get a lot. Like, I work for a company that has over 1 million likes on Facebook. Our engagement is poop. And like, that's fine. I expect it. So just keep that in mind. Utilize and set up all of your page features. There's a misspelling there, I apologize. Set up your feature, your description, your about page, your settings. Do all that if you do make a page. Make sure it's very thorough and built out. Hashtags on Facebook, just don't. They are there. Just don't, though. It's really cringy. I see like a lot of like people I went to high school with who are using hashtags on Facebook and like for MLMs and stuff. And I'm just like, that's nice, dear. Like, nobody in their right mind is using hashtags on Facebook. Like, that's weird. All right. Making the brand, tips for aspiring brands. So this is, hopefully you went to Haley's panel previously, but here are some quick tips. These are quick tips because I'm a professional. I do not have time to go into like how to actually do this. Also, I'm doing this for free. So if you want to know more, pay me. So quick tips. If you want to be a creator or a brand or an influencer, please don't use that word around me. I will throw up on you. Switch your Instagram account to a business or a creator account. Depending on if you are an artist, you might want to do creator, or if you're a business and you're selling a physical product, do business. This will give you access to analytics information that will help people, that'll help you figure out what am I doing well, where do I need to grow, and it will also help people identify you as a brand. I believe right now I am a haunted house, which is the coolest thing. Instagram actually has a really bunch of fun ones, so if you want to be edgy and a teen like me, just do it. And again, growing an account from the ground up is a long, arduous journey. It is exhausting. You're going to have a bad time. You're probably going to be really depressed. You're probably going to wonder, why am I even doing this? Just keep at it. Don't give up. Do take a break if you need to, because it's exhausting. Like, I've been doing this for almost 8 years and I have barely had any time off, and it is a hoot. Yeah. So prepare to commit time to your social accounts. If you are a brand, especially, you'll need to respond to DMs and comments. You will absolutely need to engage with other users and fans who might not necessarily follow you. Reach out to potential partners. That's the thing that takes a lot of time and research to do. And then just there's other miscellaneous tactics you'll need to build your audience if you do want to grow. And all of these things take a lot of time. I have 9 hours in a day to do some of this. This is like 1 hour of my day a lot of the time, and it's not enough time. So it's essentially a full-time job. Social media is work. There are reasons why smaller brands are like, I just need to hire somebody to run my social because I can't respond to all of this. And a really important note, be mature and behave accordingly if your personal account is also your brand account. I would strongly advise against doing this. I cannot stress this enough. If you were like, I would like to sell products, I'm going to do this through my personal account. That is a nightmare situation. I see people doing it, and it's one of those things you have to do it very tactfully, because if something happens, if you have a PR crisis and you are not a PR professional and you don't know how to handle it, things could end very poorly. It's a mess. Don't do it, but you can. Just be really mature. Like, again, you are a business. If you want to make money and grow, be an adult. Profile building. This is very important. How to properly build and create your profile. So say you're like, I would like to make a Twitter after this panel. What do I need to do? Obviously set up your page, put your profile picture in, set up your bio, set up your settings, and then populate your feed with content. Don't necessarily dump everything at once, because that's just exhausting and it might look a little scammy to people if they were to be like, this person's a robot. So populate your feed with content. So for the first few days you have an account, post like once a day on like Instagram, or like twice a day on Twitter. Post heavily, like post your own content, especially if you're starting from scratch. So pictures, text, whatever. Make sure it's your content and you're populating it. So that way when people in the future come and look, they're like, oh, this is a new account. Oh, they have content. Oh, it's good. I like it. Follow. That's how you'll grow it. Post regularly and be active. So not only posting, but commenting, liking, sharing stuff, retweeting, just exist. It's really like hard to just lurk and grow, because I'm a lurker. I'm too tired. People aren't going to know you're there. People aren't going to know you're fun to hang out with. Just be active. Share a good variety of your own content. So for Twitter specifically, don't only do retweets or shares. Just do a lot of your own tweets as well. I mean, I see a lot of people who their profiles, I go on them because I'm like, oh, who are you? I want to learn more. And it's just retweets. Like, the retweets are good, but I want to know who you are. I want to know what your content is. I want to know what I'm committing to. So I often have to pull myself back because I'm like, I have retweeted way too much without posting one of my own things. So kind of pull back, keep that in mind, If you do like retweeting a bunch, that's great, but just think about how that looks kind of from an external point of view. Fill out your account bio with accurate information or creative tidbits. Jokes are cute. Mine is a joke right now, but add them at your own risk, depending on how professional you want to be. They do have a potential to diminish your credibility depending on the platform and your target demographic. I think mine is just like your goth BFF, and I had that for a while, and I like was not growing, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't. People don't know who I am at that point. It's cute, and I love it, but they want to know like what your deal is, and oftentimes they're going to go to the bio first and see like, okay, what are you into? Like, are you a creep? Are you a bot? Are you legitimate? Etc. If applicable, pin a message with contact details. So Facebook and Twitter also have this. You can pin a message to the top of your feed. One thing I see people do a lot is like, this is my contact information. If you're a business, here's my portfolio, like a couple pictures. Here are my website links and photos, general info. I see a lot of professionals do this a lot. They're like, you can find me. Here's like my Twitch link, my YouTube link, my Discord, my regular website, my coffee, like all of that. Like that's something you can do that is also really useful. And then keep your information accurate and updated. I always laugh when I see people put their age in their profile. I'm like, you gotta change that every year. That's gotta be annoying. Good Lord. But if something does change, like if you have a role at a company, just switch that out. It's useful. Make sure it's updated. That way you don't get somebody coming in asking about something. You're like, I don't do that anymore. And add two-factor authentication. SMS, which is the text version of that security feature, is fine. Apps are better. I use Google Authenticator. It's free. Download it. It will save you a lot of trouble if somebody ends up hacking you down the road. Like, it's almost impossible to hack into somebody if they are using a text or an app authenticator. Text you can hack into, so it is possible to still get hacked if you use the text version. Very complicated though, but that's an InfoSec thing for another time. Building your audience. A lot to go over. So growing your follower count. If your growth has plateaued and say you're on Instagram and you're struggling, you're like, I can't get any new followers. I keep posting. What's wrong? What's happening here? Start to think outside the box and be like, okay, what else can I do that's different, that is still who I am and speaks to like my personal brand? Try new strategies and like reach new audiences. So like if posting new content or different types of content is not something you can do, or you want to do more than that, you can also start commenting on people's posts and like, again, the friend method, start commenting and getting friends that way. And follow people. Like, it was such a thing when Twitter started, when like, oh, you follow too many people, your ratio's bad. Like, who the fuck cares how many people you follow? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, follow people. Just follow somebody back. Like, it's fine. Like, it's not going to kill you to follow somebody back. And if you don't like their content, don't follow them. It's not hard. If you want to be friends with them, cool. I follow a lot of people I went to school with growing up, and like, you know, that's fine. Anyway, whole other topic I could dwell on for forever. Post good and related content. This is subjective. As I said earlier, it is your account. No one should tell you how to run it. Like, again, my Instagram's a hot fucking mess. Like, I post ETL and then I'll post some like random ass picture of me with a mace and whatever. It's fine. I love it. That's who I am. I'm chaotic. It's a vibe. But if you do want to grow, a lot of people like very consistent, similar content. That is something to keep in mind. It's a thing. Familiarize yourself with the influencers and brands and leaders in your space. If you are a brand yourself and you want to do any sick collabs or like have a partner for growing, or like, I want to send this person my product so they can take a picture and do influencer marketing. Choose your partners wisely, very wisely. Be very aware of what they stand for personally, their morals and their principles. This can always backfire on you if it like turns out they're a shit person, cut and dry. I'll just be very straightforward with that. Like, you're like, I want this person to wear my t-shirt and take a picture. And then a week later, they're posting some hot fucking mess. Then you're like, ah, shit. And so that reflects poorly on you. So do as much research as you possibly can if you do want to grow as a brand and want to do influencer marketing that way. especially kind of on the flip side of that, if a brand hits you up and they're like, hey, yo, wear our t-shirt, take a picture. And you're like, sure, I like free stuff. Look them up, look at their feed, see if their feed is diverse. I've ghosted brands who have been like, we love your stuff, can we send you free things? And I like look at their feed, I'm like, it's all white people. What are you doing? Like, what? That's the worst marketing. So keep that in mind. Make sure their feed's diverse and like actually friendly. Or if their product is like trash, or if their product is like $40 for shipping, like, I have a whole thread on Twitter about it. I don't know if I pinned it or anything, but if you search, I'll try and find it. I have a whole reason on that. It's another topic. Be proactive. So engage with new people who you vibe with to build rapport. Again, growing your follower account, just like talk to a bunch of people. I kind of did that over the last couple of years, just with Bay Area UK in general, and just getting kind of back into the fashion at a more heavier rate. I was always in the fashion, but not to the point where I participated actively in the community. And now that I am, I'm like, oh, dope. I got friends and my follower count's growing. This is cool. Whatever you do, don't buy followers. Like, just don't. I had a conversation with my boss earlier this week who brought that up to me because it was brought up to him and I lost it. I will spare you all that conversation. There are many reasons. If you want to know the reasons, hit me up after and I can list them out for you. Professionally and personally, it is one of the worst things you can do to yourself. Like, it is shooting yourself in the foot. Don't buy followers. It's disgusting and you can't come back from it. Don't do it. It's a waste of money. Don't be shady. This is a fun one. So this, I kind of hung out in the gaming space on social media before. I still do. One of the early things people used to do was follow and then unfollow you multiple times, just so like you'd pay attention and follow them back. I did that to a couple people. I was like, cool, like I'll follow you back. You seem dope. And then they would just immediately unfollow me. And I'm like, what the shit? I'm following you because I want to be your friend, not because I want to follow you. And so it's real weird. Like, don't do things like that. I know brands do that all the time. They'll follow and then unfollow. Like, oh, I'm sliding into your inbox, so like you see my notification that I'm following you. I get that a lot on Instagram from like random brands. I'm like, you're following me because I commented on this. However, I don't think your brand fits with my aesthetic. So why are you here? It's super annoying and it can leave a super negative impression. So on that, like brands and people that have done this, I'm like, I know who you are. I'll remember that. Is disgusting. And then be patient. Don't get discouraged. Building an audience takes time. I've had to grow a brand at my job from zero. And we actually ended up shutting down one of the accounts. So I was like, this is just, I can't. I have no time to keep up with this. It's been years. The growth hasn't been there because I'm watching 20 other accounts at this point. Just don't beat yourself up too hard. Like if you're not seeing the growth you want at first, like this is years long kind of a process. Like it takes a long time to grow a brand and get to a point where you're okay. Feeding the content machine, content calendars. I know Jessica's really excited for this. I love content calendars. Okay, so if you're looking to keep a consistent feed, as I mentioned before, making a pre-planned content calendar can help you stay on track in content themes. And I have an example, calendars. So building a content calendar, it helps you visualize what your feed will look like in the future, and it'll help you plan and schedule your content and your account, and then also track your past stuff. If you're like, I posted this previously, I don't need to post about it for a while. Scheduling posts in advance is also really, really useful, so that way you don't have to spend all of the time manually posting and logging in every day, posting something, logging in and just scheduling things will save you so much time. I love it. You can use an in-app tool or third-party platform. I go over a couple of those later on, but that is something you can do and you should keep in mind. Stick to a regular and a realistic schedule that you can keep up with. If you're like, I would like to post every day. I know people who used to have it in their bio. They might still have stuff like that on Instagram. People are like, oh, daily content. And I'm like, in what world is that a reasonable schedule if you have a 9 to 5? Like Instagram is a 9 to 5. Lord. So, you know, I try to do every other day. That kind of falls out. So I'm like, I'll do twice a week. That's as much as I can do. Even if I do have content, it's still time. Are there any online visuals ones that don't cost? Oh, monthly fees? Yes, I will go over that at the end. I have several because that is a very good thing to just keep in mind and have. Note for Barry account, we have a scheduler on Facebook and Instagram. They do have native apps in Facebook to do Instagram and Facebook, which is really helpful. I think Twitter has one, but like nobody uses it. It's not good. And then creating a bulk of your content in advance, it frees up your schedule and helps clear out your calendar, just personally to better fit your own schedule. So this essentially means go to an event, go to your little lead event, take hella pictures of the food, take hella pictures of your cord, take detail picture, take a makeup picture, take a group picture, and then take a picture of if you're having a picnic outside of the outside. That's 6 posts. There you go. That is one day, 6 posts. I do that all of the time if I'm able to. I'll just like randomly sit down one day, put my little fake nails on, and then just take hella pictures. So I'm like, I do not want to build out content for the month. I'm tired. Here's stuff I can post. And then you can also kind of save a backlog of like, oh, this is an older post. I'll do it like a throwback Thursday type of a thing. But like, here's old content. Like it's old but new. That's a really, really, really useful thing. I couldn't recommend it enough because you get your life back. It's great. Example calendar. So this is actually kind of somewhat what my professional one at work looks like. I have it by published date, topic, Twitter copy, Instagram copy. It is good to kind of differentiate Twitter copy and Instagram copy, just because Instagram can have more, so you can fit more information there. Twitter only has 280 characters, but that's a lot. You probably don't need more than that, but it is something to keep in mind. But also, it saves time if you just copy and paste the same thing over. I do it at my job. I do the same copy on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Like, saves time. And if you do have like pictures to go with it, if you want to just keep track of it nicely, I email everything to myself. You can have like a Google Drive link and then link to the picture, so you just easily download it to your phone. Anyway, there's some cute things here. I'll just leave it up if anybody wants to read the side. Look at all those chickens. Go vote. Cool. Understanding analytics. This is my favorite thing in the world. I could talk for hours about this. So analytics, I'll go back. Analytics are, for people who don't know, the back-end numbers that show how well your post is performing. And it breaks down into separate data points. There are like dozens of them, but for the sake of this panel, I only go over like the 5 main ones you should probably know. These are the ones that I kind of share at my job day to day, just because you don't need to know more than this. And if you want to know more, why do you want to know more? That's weird. So I'll go down the list. So reading your data points, impressions means how many times your post was viewed. So these are how many times a post showed up on somebody's feed, on like Facebook feed, Twitter feed, just like across a network. This is how many times it popped up. Reach, on the other side of that, is how many individual users saw the post. It's similar to impressions, but don't get them confused, because reach just means essentially how many eyeballs saw that. So one person can have a post show up on their feed like 5 times. That only counts as 1 reach, but 5 impressions. That's where they get different. I personally hate that because it's so confusing and just mixes everything up. So I usually just stick to impressions. Reach is a Facebook specific thing. So Instagram and Facebook have that. But also it is good to know reach, because like, okay, this is how many people are actually seeing it and engaging with it, versus impressions, like whatever. Engagement, easy. It's just actions that were taken on your post. So these can be likes, clicks, shares, comments, retweets, whatever. If anywhere somebody interacted with your post. Media clicks also count. So if somebody clicked on your picture to make it bigger on Twitter, like that counts as a piece of engagement. Engagement ratio, or engagement percent, is what percentage of users saw your post and then also engaged with it. Usually this number will be given to you in like a decimal point. There is a math thing, but pay me $5 and I'll show you how to do that. That's a secret. but engagement ratio is good to know. So if you're a brand or looking to grow your thing, be like, okay, so my engagement ratio is 10%. So that means of the people that saw this post, 10% actually stopped to interact with it. So that's why it's important. Engagement ratio is probably one of the more important things to look at. I usually just don't share it professionally because it's really complicated to explain what it is. And like, some people might be like, oh no, 2% is really bad. No, that's really good. People don't like engage with stuff that often on social media. We're all just absorbing things, lurking, and not necessarily interacting and sharing as much. So it is very normal to have a low engagement ratio. Like, don't get beat up because like your impressions might be like 5,000, 10,000, whatever, and your engagement is probably like, oh, like you only got 40 or 200 like engagement off of that. Like, that's not bad. Like, that's still really good. So don't beat yourself up if you have a low engagement ratio. Just reading up on chat here. Also from Twitter, emojis. Yeah, that is a thing to note. I actually started doing this at work more often because I was not allowed to use emojis at work until recently. They're like, yeah, we're switching the brand up. You can use emojis. And I was like, dope, thanks. This also counts for, I don't know if you guys know the fancy text. I will occasionally do it, like the bold text, like the bold medieval Gothic text, italic text, like the fancy looking text you can just copy and paste into something. That is also really bad for audio readers because like emojis, it's like fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, text. It does that for the Gothic. So it's like capital, like Gothic bold B, Gothic bold whatever, and just will read Gothic bold before every letter. So please keep that in mind if you want to be accessible. Accessibility is very important for social media. And I do not go over it because it is a different topic for another time that takes more time and energy. So how to access your analytics. Twitter, easy. On the left-hand side, there's a bar. Click on the 3 little dots to access your analytics. I'll just say tweet analytics. Click on that. From there, you can access your monthly profile data. Twitter pulls it all for you. And at the top, it has like tweet data. And then from there, you can either pull data into a Excel sheet or whatever. And there's a link down below, analytics.twitter.com. I spend too much of my life on that page. God. Instagram, this only works if you do have a brand profile created. So if you're a brand or a creator, you can only use this then. When you have that, you can access insights on individual posts where you just tap on the view insights and you can easily scroll and read them there. They have pretty much everything cut out. Or if you go to your profile page, you can just see a larger breakdown of like your audience insights and professional dashboard. It's not good, but it's there. It's in the app. It's fine. It's Instagram. We're all struggling. Facebook. So if you have a Facebook page, most platforms, and not even just Facebook, so like LinkedIn, for example, they'll have some in-app version of analytics, especially if you have a brand page. You can view them all pretty easily. Just look for something that says analytics or insights, page activity, page analytics, all of that stuff. And you can always export that data. All right, paid social media. No. So here's some candid thoughts that I have, not professional, just very off the cuff. Don't be tempted by the free ad money offers. Facebook does that. They're like, make an ad and you get $20 for free. Like, just don't. I honestly wouldn't recommend it at all unless you need to sell something and you're very, very eager and like need to make a certain amount, like very aggressive marketing plan. Just don't bother unless you really need to. Even then, you should probably talk to a professional as well. If you try to set up yourself, it can be really, really complicated to set up and really, really easy to bungle. I don't touch the money at my job. I have done it in the past. I am experienced in doing paid ads. I know how to do it. I just don't. Like, I have a whole team at my company that does that. I'm just in charge of the organic stuff. And I'm like, that's fine. I hate paid ads. It's really complicated. There's a whole new set of analytics you need to pay attention to. And, really, again, really easy to mess it up. So you need to spend a larger sum to make any kind of impact or valuable return. You can make ads specific for targeting. Like, I want to specifically get more clicks on this link. I want to grow followers. I want people to click through to my profile. I want them to take a certain action. You, depending on the action, Facebook actually has different costs for each of those, and depending on how specifically you target each, it can be more expensive. So I don't talk about this much, but like, you have something called the cost per click, and the lower the number, the better. So like, you're like, I want to do like 0.05 cents for like every click. Is that going to be valuable? Absolutely not. And you're like, no, I'd rather put like more money, like $1 per click. Then they're like, cool, we'll get you like the more accurate, pinpoint precision marketing for you. And like, you'll get more valuable kind of a payout, an ROI, if you will. But it's a lot of money. Yeah, it's worth putting that money into a social management tool instead and just doing the work yourself. Save your money. Don't buy an ad. Slamming on my desk. Downsides of social media. I could talk for hours about this because I do this from 9 to 5, probably 9 to 8 o'clock most of the time. I do work long hours, extra hours. I'm salaried. It's a nightmare. Sometimes social media sucks. As you all know, it's constant negativity, harassment, self-confidence issues. Like, shout out to everybody in the chat who has ever felt ugly because of social media. I will drink to that. Low engagement, like, please, I just want one like. Like, if you post something like, this is the most wonderful thing I have done in forever. I worked so hard on this picture. I'm so excited to share it, and like, nobody reacts to it. It's like, I'm more depressed than I was before. Love that. Stagnant audience growth. Like, you can't get followers and you're trying so hard and it's just like not working out. Like, strangers can be complete dicks for no reason on the internet. It feels like a chore to exist on social media, especially if you're like, you need to comment. Like, as I said, I'm like, oh, you have to sit and comment on everybody's posts. Like, that's exhausting. I don't do it because I don't get paid to do it. Instagram's fucked up. They constantly change shit. I apologize for swearing so much, but I'm so mad on Instagram. Like, it constantly changes. It's really exhausting. Like, it sucks. I know it. I understand. Ugh. And anyway, yeah, fuck around and find out. Hot takes. This means if you had a hot take and it's not a really good hot take and you share it and you fuck around and find out on social media and people get mad at you, like, that happens. Like, don't fuck around and find out. Don't share a hot take. Keep it inside your head. If you're like, I have a really bad opinion. I hate Tea Party. I hate Tea Party shoes. I hate them. If I were to share that on Twitter, I would probably be crucified. So there's a reason why I say it here in the comfort of my own home at our own event. You can't ban me from Bay Area K. I am Bay Area K. But like, I'm not posting that on Twitter because I don't want to fuck around and find out. But also, are the sweets okay? No. How to combat these things? There are ways to kind of find the joy in social media. Build your own feed. Am I going? How much? I think okay. I've got an extra 15 minutes. We're almost done here. Thank you. You've all been troopers. So you can combat these things. One of the things that I do recommend is building your own feed. So creating a list, like I said, just kind of sticking to that list so that way you don't have to read the complete crap that everybody says every single day. It's totally fine to unfollow people. I know that sometimes there are instances where somebody will find out you unfollow them and just be like, take it personally. I take it personally when people unfollow me. Like, I'll be mad about it for like an hour and just be like, that person unfollowed me. And like, okay, like, I get over it. Like, what doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that they don't like you. They might just not like your content. And I tell myself that every time. Like, if somebody I know personally unfollows me, I'm like, yeah, I'm posting some weird goth shit with like fake blood. I get it. You need to unfollow me. That's totally fine. Like, maybe they didn't think your content was what it was when you started following, or you changed up some stuff. It's fine. Just unfollow people. It's okay. Like, we shouldn't be afraid to unfollow people. Another thing you can do, just close your eyes and walk away. Like, unplug for a while. Hide your phone. Like, the days that I'm most happy is when I don't know where I put my phone and I'm not on social media. It's great. You can also install an app that helps cut down screen time. So like, apps will just lock you out. You're like, okay, you already spent an hour on social media today. You're done. And it's like, what? So that is an option you can do. No, you don't have to reply to every single comment you get, every single DM. You don't have to reply to them immediately. You don't have to do it at all. You should, but you don't have to. Like, I am terrible. People will comment on a post that I make. Like, I'll get a bunch of comments. I don't know if you all realize I'm commenting all like at the same time. I like pick a specific day of the week. I'm like, all right, I got a comment on this post somebody like maybe 3 days ago. Somebody like, thank you for comment. Thank you for like, it's fine. Shout out to the heart button. Like, do a little heart. Like, you don't have to comment. Trying to curate your feed and following way too many accounts, manually clicking on follow at a time. On Instagram, there is not a good way to do mass unfollowing. I don't remember for Twitter. My old boss taught me how to do it, but there's a really good way to like mass unfollow on Twitter, and I don't recall. I'd have to look it up. You could probably get a third-party app to do it for you for Instagram, but I would be, again, very hesitant to do it in case they do some sketchy stuff. But I would say, just because it is manual, take some time out of your day. Like, I don't know, set a timer, do 5 minutes, like the opposite of meditating, just going through and like unfollowing accounts at a time. Or as they come up, if you see them in your feed, hit the unfollow button. Totally fine. It will take a while, but it is doable. I promise you can do it. On that, you can also block, mute, soft block, unfollow, and report people. Like, it's not a lot, especially if you're being harassed a lot, but like that is the minimum, very minimal thing you can do if you are having a bad time. Those are options. I do it all the time. I recommend it. Go for it. It's fine. And then some people won't like you for whatever reason. And most of us here are Lolitas. I know you know. We all get it. Someone's going to hate you and what you're about. That's fine. It's fine. Like, not everybody has to love you. Not everybody's going to love what you're doing on social media. Like, I promise you can learn to accept this. I'm biased because I'm a Leo and I know people hate me, but also one of my other star signs is Virgo, so I want to know why. I don't know why, but the Leo is like, it's fine, just get over it, own it. Yeah, you just learn to just ignore it. Close your eyes, walk away. Rule number 1, don't tweet. It's a joke. That's mostly a joke. Everybody loves you, Mani. I love you. The don't tweet is a joke, but also like just don't tweet. I've often written up tweets, like long tweets, and then I just don't send them because I'm like, why? It's not important. Yeah, just remember, you don't owe anyone anything on social media. You don't owe anybody shit. It's fine. It's for you, not for anybody else. I drank like none of my tea. It's so full. And then reminder for everybody, this is really important. If you know the lyrics, sing along. Your follower count does not reflect your merit or your value as a person. Period. I have often run into people who are like, you have a low follower count. Why? And I'm like, I'm not getting paid to do my personal account. Like, pay me a large sum hourly to run my personal account, and I will. I'm not paying myself to run my personal account. I don't care about growing it. I'm doing it for fun. Also, a lot of social media managers, I'm friend with them, but there's another one in my house right now who's visiting. He's in the other room. He can tell you the same thing. Like, we don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't care that you're like, I have 10,000 followers on Insta. Nobody gives a shit. That doesn't mean if you're a good person or not. It just shows you, the other person, that that's all you care about. That you're so... Anyway, I'm moving on. I don't have a lot of time. Sorry. We had the code word for when I talk too long about something. Summary. General best practices. There's a lot here. I'm going to just breeze through these. So create a complete profile. Make sure everything's all done and built out. Engage with people if you want to grow. Don't be a lurker. Just comment. Create a content calendar and schedule your content. There are templates you can find online, but also it's just as easy to build one out on Google Docs. I've been interviewing a lot of people to work under me at my job, and they all love Google Docs. It's all social media professionals do. We just don't like other tools. Google Docs. Set up a designated social media time during the day or the week. So if you're like, all right, I'm too busy, it just takes too much energy and like I hate it, it's exhausting, just Tuesday afternoon during lunch, set it up. Like, set up a work schedule if you do want to do this a lot. Use analytics to help determine which posts and content work best. So if you did a post that did really, really well, kind of understand that maybe another post that's similar or in that direction can help. You probably don't want to do paid right now. Just don't. It's really complicated. Just don't do it. Close your eyes and walk away if it gets to be too spicy. And last one is set up two-factor authentication. Set it up. Do it right now. If you haven't done it, do it. Here are some recommended tools. I will post this in the Discord afterwards, so you will all have access to that. So yeah, so here are some free and paid tools to help manage your account. I'm just going to talk about Buffer. Buffer is free. Buffer is incredibly good. You can do, I believe, everything. I think you can even do Instagram on there. Check them out. I will post the links in this just slide in general. It's a management tool that helps you like pre-schedule everything, and it sends it out at a set time. TweetDeck is really good for Twitter. I'll bring that one up as well. And then the rest of these are just something to look into to help you either create content or manage your content and schedule it out. And then the bottom three are paid. The rest of these do have some kind of a paid option, but the bottom three are pretty exclusively paid. Paid things can be really expensive. Right now at my job, I use something called Sprout Social. I really like it. It is very expensive. You will probably not be able to afford it, and I would not recommend it. If you're spending like $10 or less a month on your management tool, that's fine, especially if you're a brand and like genuinely trying to grow. Cool. Otherwise, you probably don't need a paid one right now. Q&A. Please don't slide in my DMs asking for professional help building your brand or more social media advice, unless you want to pay my consultancy fee. Again, I am an 8-year tenured professional. I don't do this for fun. I do this because I can buy brand. Anyway, follow me for more hot takes and shit posts and occasional social media tips. You can find me all platforms. Just on that, it is useful to have the same name on all of your social networks so people can easily find you that way. When I rebranded, shout out to people who knew me from way back when. I don't even know my older names. I just made sure everything was the same. So thanks. I think we don't really have that much time. We've got like, what, 8 minutes really before the next panel, Jess? Can I do like 1 or 2 questions? Anybody have any questions? We can do a couple questions until they kick me off. They get the one little like hook where they grab me and I'm just out. I'll make me big. I'm gonna make me big. How do I make me big? Here we go. So yeah. If anybody wants to get into social media professionally as a job, can talk about that a lot as well. It's exhausting, but sometimes very fun and fulfilling. And one of the most under-respected careers in marketing, especially organic. Love it. Should the media be socialized? Yes. Spencer, bring me my sickle and a hammer.
Oh, no.
Our social media. Yep, that is a fun thing. My Twitter is very different from my Instagram. That's totally fine. It is helpful when people do go to these accounts and they see like, oh my god, it's a brand, and they look at your tweets and they understand like, okay, I'm not going to be getting this out of it, but also they just might like you as a person and follow anyway. But yeah, I love that. I'm just rambling now. Anyway, just as an aside, this was technically like the last panel. I just want to, we have a closing ceremony in like probably about an hour, but after this we are doing a Kahoot final exam with me and Jessica. We're gonna have a good time, so make sure you stick around for that. We have finals. Bring your number 2 pencil. Got final exams. Make sure you fill out panel feedback if you want to. No pressure. Really appreciate everybody sticking around and coming to class. Don't forget to do yearbook stuff. Thanks. Yeah, I've got really bad jokes on Twitter. A lot of the time it's just depressing things about my job, about my life. Very recently, like as I think last night, I just unfollowed a bunch of people I grew up with, and I was like, I just can't, like, on Facebook, because they're just like, if you ever just want instant satisfaction on social media, just unfollow the weird people you went to high school with who think they know about science. As a failed pre-medical student, I know a little more. Anyway, I'm gonna dip so we can get ready for the next panel. Stick around to the Bay Area K channel, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.